President Trump's new CIA chief, Mike Pompeo, has a difficult task ahead of him. He has to figure out a way to smooth the rift between the president and the intelligence community. Pompeo was sworn in by VP Mike Pence last night after the Senate confirmed him. There were a number of no votes, primarily from Democrats, opposed to Pompeo's views on domestic surveillance. Long story short, he's all for it. More on that in just a moment. But the battle between Donald Trump and the intelligence agents, that might be a more pressing issue for him, at least for now. That because according to some reports, the intel community is ready to go toe-to-toe with the president should the standoff ever reach a boiling point. Joining me now, it's Glenn Greenwald, one of the co-founding editors of The Intercept. Glenn recently wrote an article for The Intercept titled, "The Deep State Goes to War with President-Elect Using Unverified Claims as Democrats Cheer." Welcome back, Glenn.
Great to be with you.
So is there any benefit to having this rift, this war between the intelligence community, particularly the CIA, and the new president?
I don't think there's really any benefit anytime you have an unelected faction of the government thinking that they should be acting independently or even worse, adversarially to the person that the American public, for better or for worse, decided they wanted to elect as president. The CIA, the unelected branches of government, are already very powerful. If you liberate them from being subordinate to these democratically elected officials, I think you get a situation that's very dangerous in the midterm or the long term, even if there are some short-term benefits. So I think it's actually quite a menacing potential if they're really going to view themselves as rogue or contrary to the person that's supposed to be commanding them.
Yeah, and it seems as though Democrats are cheering this. And you have written that the CIA was essentially openly cheering for Hillary Clinton to win. Do you still believe that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the untold stories of the election is that it was really kind of a proxy war between various agencies within the permanent, unelected national security agencies community. You had the FBI, at least parts of it, that were clearly rooting for Trump, that were acting to undermine Clinton's candidacy. And then on the other hand, you had CIA officials and part of the CIA community who clearly wanted Clinton to win, and not only who wanted her to win, but had been acting against Trump ever since he won. And so you see these kind of competing leaks, these efforts to subvert each candidate. And I think even now with Trump in the White House, you still see a lot of people in the intelligence community signaling to him that they could harm him if he continues to impede what they think should be the agenda.
Yeah, what the hell kind of government is that? I mean, that's just weird. And it's truly unacceptable. But I want to talk a little bit about the incoming CIA director, because obviously there has been a personal issue between the outgoing director, John Brennan, and the brand new president, Donald Trump. So Mike Pompeo, how is he on the all-important issue of surveillance?
He's pretty bad on that issue. It's not just Democrats, as you indicated, who believe that. Rand Paul actually was the only Republican to vote against him. And of course, he has a long history of caring a great deal about Fourth Amendment rights, about the issue of individual privacy in the United States, and essentially cited exactly that Pompeo is at the far end of the spectrum when it comes to favoring domestic surveillance, about being very supportive of a lot of the policies under the NSA that caused Edward Snowden to become a whistleblower that courts have ruled illegal. And then when you add into that mix things like his openness to torture, his association with a lot of people who are pretty on the far end of being Islamophobic, I think there's a lot to worry about.
Yeah, and as you remember, Rand Paul made a name for himself with that filibuster against John Brennan. And, you know, now he's being very consistent with a new director heading the CIA. Glenn, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day. Thanks. Coming up, thousands of Texans rallied in Austin today demanding more choice, but not the left-wing kind. Lone Star parents demanding more school options for their children.